Nice little quick and easy one for us today. Got a bit of paint off of there, and then got a bit of paint here for us. Shouldn't take too long. Right, let's get into it. Right, I just want to, first of all, I want to try my new computer out and this webcam. This is the first time I've used it, to be fair, so we'll see what happens. I want to make this video to try and clear a few things up, like some questions I keep getting asked. So like, we'll just get straight into it really. I get asked, why do you start at bottom when I'm blasting an house or blasting stone or a wall or whatever? Whatever I do, if I'm wet blasting, slurry blasting, if I'm blasting from something vertical, is it vertical, horizontal? Yeah, vertical. If it's going up and down like that, if I'm blasting that, I'll start at bottom, because if I start at top, there's no right way or wrong way of doing it. You can start top or bottom. It's entirely up to blaster or whoever's doing job. It's entirely up to them. I start at bottom because if I did start at top, this media and this slurry is going to run down wall and it's going to get to the bottom and then it's going to set at bottom. So then I've either got to move it or blast through it to get that bottom course, and then that's just adding time to my day. It's making me a little bit mad because I should have done it from bottom up and do it while it's not there. That's the reason why I do that. So that's that one. Oh yeah, fancy coffee. Now let's make some class. Right. Oh, my SA specs as well. I wanna admit to that. I've done something wrong. I had wording wrong. I knew what I meant when I was talking about it. When I was saying like blasting, when I was saying SA3, I'm taking it to SA3, which I thought I thought the wording for that was the worst blast. So like it starts at 1, which is just flying over it. So that's basically pointless. 2, which is cleaning it up but still leaving bits on it. That's pretty much pointless and all. Then you get a 2.5. which most of my jobs have been 2.5. Every time I've had to do a spec, I've had to work to a spec, it's all down to that 2.5. That's the only thing that I've ever worked from. And then it goes to 3, which is like your white steel. So you've got your cleaner stuff. So I had it wrong way around. I had numbers wrong way around. I knew what I meant, I just had wrong wording. I used wrong wording for it. So I hope that clears things up. People in comments cleared it up for me anyway. So yeah, kudos to you. Kudos. Anyway, another one. Does it damage bricks or stone? I get this question quite a lot, and it's a controversial thing. I can't even say that word. Controversial. Yeah, controversial thing. My opinion, no. I'm gonna say that because I'm a sandblaster, and this is what I do for a living. But look at it this way. This is my facts on it. This is what I know about blasting and blasting stone. Say stone's a natural product. You find it in ground, you pull it out, you water it. That stone's going to repel water. You cut that into a block shape so you can build with it. You spray it after you've cut it. You spray it with water. It still repels water because that's what that natural product does. That's what stone does. You remove less than 0.5 of a millimetre off the face of that stone with a blaster, ain't gonna make that stone start sucking water up. It's impossible. That's my facts anyway. That's my reasoning on it. Same with a brick, a 4-inch brick. It's clay. It's 4-inch. You remove less than half a millimetre off the face of this brick. Ain't gonna make that brick different from a clay 4-inch brick. It's still going to be a clay 4-inch brick doing what it does. It's impossible for that front. If you wipe that front off, it's impossible for that to then become a sponge. That's my experience on it anyway. I'm not going to go too far into it because I know a lot of people have different opinions about it and stuff. Well, when I comment, he was confident that it does. But his computer tells him that it's wrong, he shouldn't do it. My hands-on experience, if you're blasting brickwork, you're doing it to remove either a finishing that you don't want on it, like carbon. You don't want it to look black, you want to clean it up, you don't want paints on it, you just want to make it look brighter. In my opinion, blasting a brick to make it look better is better, because obviously your customers, it's what your customer wants. It's you can inform them, you can tell them what it's going to do. You can say, yeah, it's going to sand front of brick off, but taking front of brick's not going to change it at all. Prime example, this house. When I bought this house, it had got damp in it, and it was, what's happened here? Oh, the chuffs are, oh, here we go. Yeah, when I bought this house, we had damp issues, and I saw damp issues, and I knew straight away what were up with it. Well, I was 95% sure why this house had got damp. So like when I first moved in, I knew what they'd done to try and cover it up as well. I know what they'd done to try and stop this damp. So what's happened is, it's a brick built construction. It's got no cavity. There's not, between here, there's no cavity between front and outer brick. So we've got front brick, back brick, and they're interlocked. So it's like every so often there'll be a course, and then a brick across. So that's how this house is built, pre-1900s or whatever it is. That's just how they did them. Nowadays you've got a cavity, wall ties and stuff, but this isn't. So I kind of knew that what's happening with this house is they believed, whoever had this house before, believed that water were coming from outside in. So they're thinking it's coming from driving rain on the wall or the guttering or whatever, on the face, on facade, outside the house, and then that's coming in. So what they started doing was, they've painted it. They've painted this brickwork. This is why I had a gamble on this house, because I know what I do. I knew what it'd look like when I do it, when I blasted it, because I blasted my own house. So anyway, this house had been painted, and then they'd rendered it. So when they'd painted it, they realised it was still getting damp issues, and then they rendered it. So now they're still getting damp issues. So they don't know how to stop it. So anyway, when we've got a house, my first thing what I did was change guttering, make sure guttering and roof are sealed. Change windows, make sure windows are sealed. Then I take render off, then I blasted paint off. That paint, in my opinion, that paint was causing trouble. Not to trouble why they painted it, well probably, yeah. Because they'll have painted it for aesthetics, I think. That's why they've done it back in day. That's what they've done it for, I'm not sure. But they've painted it, and then that was causing damp issues, and that's why they rendered it, to cover that paint up, because they didn't know or didn't understand that you could take it off with a blaster. So that's where I think that's when that went wrong. So anyway, this paint, on front, so that's front of my house, this paint's here, this condensation from inside is weeping out through these bricks. All condensation from inside the house is hitting this paint and not going out. Can't get past because this is a barrier. So then water, I'm just going to stop that. So then water is coming back in, causing damp. So then when I blasted it 12 months ago, 18 months ago, we ain't had no issues with damp. It might be just pure luck. It might be just, oh, what else I did though? It could be the fact that when I blasted paint off, I redid what they call it. I redid cement, ground it out and repointed it. But that weren't to do with the fact that it was weeping water. It was keeping it in, because paint were obviously above old cement, so it were doing its job like it was supposed to do that paint. Anyway, that's that. That leads me on to, does it damage cement in between bricks? Right, I've got one for you here. If people say that blasting damages cement and it rips all your cement out your joints, yeah, it will. But only if the cement's crap. So if you've got a key, not a pencil, but if you've got a key and you've got your joint on your house and you run it between your brick and your block, or your bricks and your stone, you run that key in that joint. If that cement falls out with a key, or just flicking at it like that cement, in my opinion, is knackered and it needs changing. So then that is not doing its job that it's supposed to do. If you can't flick it out with key, blaster ain't going to take it out. No way will that blaster take that cement out of there, because that cement is harder than brick or stone. So you're not going to get, well, it depends how it's mixed, but yeah, 95% of the time, if that's not coming out with key, it's not coming out with blaster. Yeah, blaster will etch it up, will take smoothness off it, but same again. Sand and cement, if you take face off at sand and cement, it ain't suddenly gonna make it into a sponge. It's not gonna suddenly make it. It might take shine off it. So if it's got a shine to cement, and you blast that off, but this is where I've got a bit of experience as well. I would have bricky for, I don't know how long, when we did bricklaying and when we got taught to bricklay, once you'd done it, once you struck it off with cement, with jointer, once you've jointed that up and you put your finish on it, then you go over it with a soft brush to take that shine off it. So that's not the same as blaster. So I don't get where some people on that respect are coming from, but everybody's going to have their own opinion on that. That's just the way that I see it. There's different ways of doing grinding and pointing, doing pointing as well. You can do chariot pointing, so it's like a little chariot, obviously, and it's got a pin in it. So then you run that over your joints, and then that recesses your cement from your bricks. So your face of your bricks there, your cement sat further back. If that were case that Blaster were taking it off, I don't understand some folk. I just don't know where the logic in thinking is. It's just how that is. I know everybody's going to have a different way of doing things, and I appreciate the way that people might do things. But when somebody's telling me I'm doing something wrong, and they ain't got no experience in, or they ain't seen my work, if they ain't had me or had my services, they can't comment and say that I'm doing my job wrong. It's something that, just because your computer tells you I might be doing it wrong, don't mean that I'm doing it wrong. Well, anyway, that's that. What about... Oh, why don't I take mill scale? I nearly missed my coffee then. Why don't I take mill scale off at steel? So you'll have seen them videos where darker grey stays on steel. No, my phone again. So you'll have seen them videos with steel's got that bit of darker colour onto it. Some people were saying that I'm missing it in videos. Well, not one, I think that was the first boat video I did, saying that I'd missed it. Well, it's not. That's mill scale. That's into steel. That's when steel's rolled or made or pressed. I don't know either. I think it's rolled when they come out in a big sheet. The way that it cools steel, it puts like, if you've ever seen it, it might be, well, there will be a video on YouTube somewhere. But when it's made, it's got this like grey stuff when it's drying, or cooling. When it's cooling quicker, when steel's cooling on outside, it puts that skin on the face. So that's like still steel, but it's like they call it mill scale. So like when you can blast through that to get it off, but there's no reason for me to do that, because if I come to a boat that's been primed and released from factory, or a wagon, or out for that matter, out that I come across, if it's already got paint on it and it's not brand new and it needs that spec to clean that up. Well, anyway, that wagon that I come across, or that boat, if I take that paint off and I see mill scale underneath, if I etch that mill scale up, that's good enough to be painted. I don't need to take that mill scale off, because what's point in taking that off if they can't even be bothered to take it off from factory? If they've released that boat or that wagon or that metal piece of that metal has come out of factory, from factory, weight on, and then they've painted off at top, why should I have to take that mill scale off? Because I don't price into job for that, because it can spin job, it can make or break, it can gear, I don't know, you could probably lose job just because of price aspect that you've got to put in to get it off. So when people hear pricing, they're like, oh, that's expensive. And you're like, or I can do it at this price and I can prep it for paint. And I say, well, what's the difference? And then you tell them, and they're like, yeah, crack on, get it done that way. Because obviously it's going to save them some money, and everybody likes saving money. And it's something that they need doing, innit? So yeah, I think I've covered all areas here, covered all bases. If you've got any more comments, drop them below and I'll try my best to answer them. I have actually got a lot of hands-on experience, so I'm not new to this game. I've been doing it, 10, 12 years or whatever, so it's not something that I'm new to, and I do it every day. And I don't do anything else, I only do sandblasting, so I don't do painting, I don't get involved with it, because I believe you've got to be an expert in your field. If you're going to do something and you want to make a go at it, you've got to be really good at doing that one thing. I've tried painting before. I'm not a painter. My brother does it. He's got a body shop. Leave him to do it. If I need a painter, I'll get him to do it. See, that's all he does. All he does is paint. So that's that side of it. And what else? Where I don't get involved in grinding and pointing. I used to do it. I used to do grinding and pointing as a trade. That was one of my money makers before doing this, and it's something that I got into, but I just didn't enjoy it. So, and it's, yeah, one of them jobs what nobody, I don't think nobody enjoys it. So yeah, I've got a bit of experience in that as well. So when it comes to pointing and grinding and stuff, but I don't get involved with that. I'll not do grinding and pointing after I've done a job. I'll let someone else do it because I don't want to get involved in another man's work. I'll just do what I do, they do what they do. That's what it is. Yeah, drop us a comment if you've got any more comments or you want me to try and clear things up for you. I'll try my best. Alright, I'll catch you next time.